So what do you think of Kamala Harris being commander in chief?
I would.
Oh,
Oh
God.
gosh, that would scare the living crap out of everybody.
Do you think when I was in the army under Clinton when
Uh-huh.
he did "Don't Ask, Don't Tell,"
Yeah.
even though everybody knew who was gay and there was gays in the military and
Yeah.
everybody knew who they were,
Yeah.
but there's still a mass exodus because of that. They lost some good people. Do you think that if she does win in November, that people will be getting out of the military just because they don't want to deal with that? They've already dealt with.
I think people are going to
Uh,
say that people are going to say, "quote unquote," the left-hand side is going to say, "Oh, no one's going to leave," but I guarantee you, people are not going to reenlist.
Well, like I said, I know people left just because they don't ask, don't tell, and then they put up with.
Would you? No, honestly, would you? With
I
her
would have
as
got out.
commander in
I would
chief?
have got out under Biden.
Oh, I would too. But would you underneath her? I mean,
She'd been the cherry on top. If I made it through Biden, I would have gotten out under her.
I mean, would you? I mean, if
I
you were
would
in-
have. I would get out of off. I mean, I wouldn't stay in the military with her. She's not serious. She can't be
No.
taken serious. I mean, everything she does, she laughs about
Well,
everything.
think about it. When you're worried about going to war or whatever, putting your life on the line, you look for leadership, and there's
Well,
no leadership,
here's what she'd say.
and she just laugh.
She'd go like this: "The military is the military, but of the military are the guns that we use are the military."
Yeah, it'd be something like that. And then it would end with that cackle. Yeah.
And she's always going to laugh. She always got to laugh. I mean, you could give her the worst news that somebody passed away, and she's going to laugh. Then she's going to say, "Passing just part of life," or something like that. You know, it's something inane. I mean, she's just not all there.
But do you have faith in the American people?
American people.
Do you think there's actually people out there that are going to vote for her in droves?
Yes.
Yes,
I know
there is.
people are going
Well,
to
I
vote for
mean-
it because they're going to vote because of three things. They're going to vote because they are going to vote because they're going to say that it's time to have a woman as a they're going to vote for three reasons. This is it. They're going to vote because they're Democrat. And no matter what happens, they're just going to vote because they're Democrat.
Yes.
That's it. They're going to vote because they are going to say that she's African American, which she's not, but they're going to say that she's a black woman. So they're
But
gonna
do you
vote for
think
her.
Janet Jackson saying what she said in the last couple of days will make a difference? to
What did Janet
people?
Jackson say?
Yeah.
She's not black.
Janet Jackson actually
She
called her
came
out for
out-
that.
Yes.
She
Then,
isn't black, though. I mean,
then that would call it. If I was anybody, I would actually listen to Janet Jackson over her any day.
what's like? Well, I guess she might have because Caribbean, people of the Caribbean do have, African ancestry in there. I mean, I don't know. She represents the rest of the population, but they do have.
But her dad he doesn't identify as Caribbean. He identifies as an Indian.
Yeah.
So there goes that theory.
It's so weird though that somebody has to have that put out there. I mean, why can't they just say they're qualified candidates? No, we got to have these check boxes.
A few weeks ago, I was I do farmers market.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm always doing these different things. And I was talking to one of the people who I really care about. This is one of our clients that come out and talk. And I just listen to what people say. And this one lady, she looked at me, she goes, I just can't wait to vote for her because it's time to have a woman in the White House.
Okay, but don't you think people learned their lessons with Obama?
Uh,
Was he a woman?
No, but he was black.
Well, it's just no.
And I know I worked in the store that I heard what people were saying that they couldn't wait to vote for Obama because he was black.
if you vote for somebody because of color of their skin, or if you vote for somebody because of their gender, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Well,
Well,
I'm
most
sorry.
Americans are. I think most of I have a problem. Yeah, to go back to the first question. No, I really don't have much faith in the American public.
No?
I don't. No, because I mean they're too easily swayed. I mean, even though we went through
But
it,
even though they know what kind of prosperity and how cheap things were, groceries and gasoline, that they know, you got somebody who's already done it before. You know what he's done, and they always call him a racist, and they say he's gonna he's going to be a tyrant, but he wasn't a tyrant back then. Why is he going to be a tyrant now?
Well, because he's had 2 assassination attempts, maybe they think that's going to be the cause of it. I don't
Okay,
know.
but the media covers that up, and then bringing that up, why did they release that information from the latest one? He wrote a letter apologizing for not doing the deed, but not only that, he offered, I think it was $150,000 for someone else to do it.
Now, where does he get this money at?
But
He
why
only
did,
had $62
okay,
in his
you're
pocket.
asking where did he get the money from? But why did the DOJ think that they should release the letter?
Well, because well, that one I would actually go with that one with that Ron DeSantis came up and said, I don't trust the DOJ to even do this one.
Okay, so he's
So
gonna
now the
approve,
DOJ
they're gonna release a letter that more or less says that puts a bounty on somebody's head
No, the
of
DOJ's
$150,000, so that's gonna make that
well,
better?
no, the DOJ's trying to say, listen, Garland's probably trying to say, look at, hey, you know what? I've stepped on my ding
Oh,
for all his
so
other times, so let me do this
release
one
a
time.
letter with the bounty of Donald Trump's head on it, and that's
Because you know what? The American people are going to see that I'm actually doing my damn job
I
for
mean,
one time.
I don't think. What do you think? Do you agree with what he just said, or
That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it is to basically try to
how?
please the
Okay, how could
This
you
man is the
release?
dumbest man who's ever freaking walked in.
He would
Besides
have to be.
Besides Joe Biden, Merrick Garland is the dumbest man
Okay,
who's
let
ever
me ask
freaking
you,
idiot.
somebody who's smart.
I'm not smart
Okay,
because
thinking
Merrick
about it
Garland.
yourself, if you were in the position, would you release a letter like that?
Oh hell no!
That's what I'm asking you to
But
say.
Merrick Garland is the dumbest. Okay, wait a second.
He-
We have put Mr. Magoo as president of the United States.
who's also
We have put
upset with Trump because he didn't let him become a justice.
So here's the guy who's not letting him become a justice, so he's got an extra grind. So here's what he's done. He sent his FBI when he could out to Mar-a-Lago, who went through um Melania's underwear drawer, who I think there was even a report where some guy was actually sniffing her underwear. And then now they've got a lawsuit where Trump is actually has to sue the DOJ because some perverted they got him on video because they wanted no video of this. They wanted him to shut the videos down of his own private property where he could actually have the videos up there showing. So you got perverted guys out there looking at all of Melania's lingerie. Now you got everybody going out there, but then you have Merrick Garland going on there. So you want this guy who's gone out and got this one guy, this Jack Smith guy, who had nothing to do with anything, who's now put him as a special counsel on how many cases against
But they've all been thrown out. So
they've all been thrown out because of what they did.
Because they had no standing.
They had no standing because he went against anything right because he wasn't appointed by Congress.
Right.
Because this guy decided to take the law in his own hands. So you got Mr. Magoo as president of the United States. You got I don't know who's Inspector Gadget now running the head of the DOJ, who's going around coming up things, who's going around trying to take anybody that would stand up against his son-in-law's project.
Okay, but long story short, they did it on purpose.
Well, because he
not that they were trying to convince the American people that they were doing something good. They put that out there
because he's an idiot.
To try to get a third person to kill the president of the United States. I mean,
that could be it. No, that could be
that's the only reason.
I would definitely not. If in his role, I don't think I would have released it because you'd want to have something when you go take this guy to trial, this would-be assassin. You'd want something to put in trial to actually, as shows true intent was actually fully demonstrated by this letter, and he showed regret for not being able to accomplish it. I would just use that as a piece for evidence in the trial,
and that's what
I would do.
That's what common sense people would think. But
it would come out.
This whole world is backwards now.
But the problem that you're missing, Steve, is that you used one word that does not go with Merrick Garland.
Smart.
Common sense.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's the whole administration.
Well, yeah.
I just can't fathom the thought. I can't think of the thought of actually having these people in power another 4 years, especially now headed up by the most ridiculous vice president I've ever seen. I've seen some pretty ridiculous vice presidents in my years. I mean, she's ridiculous, and I just can't.
Up until when was she?
They were even looking at getting her off. She hasn't talked until recently. The only thing you've seen her, I forget what representative she was talking with, and she couldn't even answer the questions.
She laughs so hard. I mean,
She
about
just
everything.
laughed when she was asked questions, and then I always remember how much she likes buses.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, but that's over the last
You,
3.5 years.
I
That
just
that was
She's a
yeah,
big.
that was it.
She sounds like a big stoner. I
And
mean,
then
every
she
time I ask
likes
her a question,
she
she
likes
giggles.
they just released a video of her at a thing in 2018 where she was doing this um up with education. She's always doing these videos where they're doing this
Yeah,
kind of dancing
she
kind of
can't
thing.
dance, by the way. She doesn't.
But
Have
she does these dancing things where she's jiving with people going up with education, down with deportation. Now we're supposed to understand that she wants to secure our borders up with education, down with deportation.
That's going to be another point too that I like to make. I've always heard about education. Okay, but what it is, the left says that word, but what they really mean by it is our indoctrination. Because if you get true education, you might reach conclusions of something they don't particularly care for, or to conclusions they don't want you to develop. And so it's indoctrination. They always say about education, but it isn't. It's indoctrination. They don't, and these young kids, where they want to approach with the age, they don't have the evaluation, process in their heads, how to evaluate what's right and wrong and what's makes sense. So that's what these you get struck upon. I mean, they keep on saying about education, education, education. I mean, why don't you just say indoctrination, indoctrination, indoctrination? That's all it's about.
That is what's changed
Yeah,
here.
that's all it is. Well, it's always been that way. To some degree.
Especially when they say teachers are the second parent
Yeah,
or the third parent, whatever it is,
It's kind of like how we were talking on the way over here.
about college.
College. I was okay. So on Saturday we were coming in from the rural part,
Mhm.
out in the farmland coming in. So everywhere around, like the farmers, the blue collar working area, right? When on Saturday when I was driving coming in, all this area all you saw was Trump signs everywhere
Mhm.
you looked. When you came into like this college, like this big area where you knew these were the quote unquote affluent people. So I looked at Julie and we were driving in and I was telling this to Steve. I'm like, I asked her I asked her this question. I'm like, doesn't it always seem weird to you that the more quote unquote affluent a person is, like where they've got these
Because
good educational jobs
they
and all
can
this.
stay in that bubble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
They don't get out there with crazy people like me and John.
See,
Right.
what-
But
And
the more affluent you are, the dumber you are.
right.
well,
But they wouldn't talk to me and John.
Oh God, because
We're below them.
you're below them, and how dare you ask them how dare you differ from their opinion?
I worked at the university for years, and they are the most ensconced and isolated, insulated people, and they can't see reality. They'll see the gas prices go up. Obviously, they'll see grocery prices go up, but they have such an ensconced position. I mean, okay, to use an example, I know a woman who was a professor there. She had a good pay coming. I don't know how much, but anyway, she got awarded because she wrote like 5 lines of poetry was included in an anthology that some educational group put together.
Right.
She got $50,000 for that.
Mhm.
Well, $50,000 would take us what, a year to maybe a good job, decent paying job to work at,
Right.
and she just got it for writing 5 lines of poetry. I
Yeah.
mean, so they're so out of touch with reality with
Well-
most of the
Well, that's
population.
because
But
of
think about
free-
it. A
free
person
money.
that plays basketball wins $14 million
Right.
for 4 or 5 years.
But
so how figure out how
but they work their butts off.
they work their asses
If
off
you
to get to
hear
that
the
point.
regiment some of those guys go through, it starts at 5.
And it's only
5
1%
o'clock
of
in
the guys
morning.
that ever play.
Right.
And they get up, they
get
run.
what they deserve.
Right. And it's only a short period of time.
So I don't
do
take
think-
anything from an
Well,
athlete.
I
you
don't
can't
think
compare
$14
'em.
million a year or $14
If
million
they can get it,
If
they
they can get
deserve it.
I don't have a good feeling on that because that should be spelled out in a long period of a year or long period
It's
of a
not
lifetime.
my job to decide.
No, the only thing I have a problem with about professional sports is with the taxpayers paying for the venue places, the arenas, the the places that they're held at, and then the person owns the team now gets to use it and
Yeah,
charges us
or-
a huge price for that we just built.
Or they sell
Yeah.
they sell the team to somebody else, and then that Coliseum or whatever that they built
Right.
is gone because the new owner wants to move
Right.
the team.
Look at the
Look at
the palace,
Detroit.
yeah.
Look at Detroit.
That was sad.
not only that,
was sad.
what's
Because that was a perfectly great building.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful
that was
building.
ridiculous.
but look what they did with the Silver Dome.
Yeah, just let it go to crap.
Let it go to crap
Mhm.
and
They just
auction up
finally-
the seats.
And they finally just Didn't they just finally demolish it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but it's just that's what I'm saying. That's why I mean I don't watch sports. Like to me it's like if you wanted to play that, get about a couple
The
of friends
Lions
together.
won this week.
Oh, they did.
Okay.
That's good.
Just give you a heads up.
But anyway, but to me, I don't care. To me, it's like the players will change all the time, and so all you guys now is loyalty to colors and a mascot. I just never understood the loyalty for that. You know,
Here's the thing I don't understand. Honestly, you're talking about the poetry.
right?
All right, so here's the thing. I don't really care what William Faulkner wrote 100 years ago.
Right.
I really don't give a crap because it has nothing to do with what we're going to do to make food to make it through the table today. Yes, I know what he wrote. I
Yeah.
read his book. But after that, really, honestly, I don't think 7 guys need to sit around a freaking table like they do in colleges, university, and debate with each other because they can be in their own little bubble to talk about this. Who gives a crap? And we pay them hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that comes out of parents having to send their kids to college.
But that's
and they
just
have
like
to
the
send their
legacy
college.
media. I think everything's changing now because of the younger generations coming up a whole new way than anybody's come up.
Yeah, legacy media is dying because the new kids don't get their news from there anymore.
Yeah,
They don't need to watch it.
That's a healthy thing, though. It really is. I mean, we finally, but the thing is, still, what's lacking in them is the ability to evaluate stuff. You might hear different views, but they can't evaluate what is more accurate,
Well,
more
look,
valid.
The only difference is about the new generation not doing anything today is they're not finding out how to sit down and investigate what is real, what is not real.
Right.
That's the only thing. And legacy media didn't give it to you. I totally agree with you there, but they didn't. But the one thing about today's, if they read it, they think it's true.
but kids aren't going to college like they used to.
Well, they shouldn't.
I mean, they're waking up. Think about it.
Why would you?
When I went to school, nobody was. I mean, there was people probably getting in debt, but not like it is now.
What it
I
was.
mean, like a regular. Go ahead.
What it is because everybody started demanding it, the employers, and then everybody wanted the degrees, and so they knew that they can charge a higher price, and they gouged them. I mean, I saw that. I mean, the students would get charged here at U of M, they would Flint, where I was at, they get charged so much per semester for a technology fee. But the technology that they were paying for wasn't really being cut, being staying with their new
Yeah,
demands.
well, no, it wasn't
Doesn't
keeping
work.
up.
No,
No.
But how about the other thing? I took some online classes. They were charging me the same amount for that online class
As if you were.
as if I was in a classroom. How did they justify that?
well,
I would rather take it on.
I did.
I was happier taking
I
online
finished my
classes.
degree with that.
Yeah, I did the
because
last 2
then
years.
you don't
of
have to
online.
put up with the professors.
See,
BS.
I was entrenched in the original way of doing it. I tried the online course through University of Phoenix once, and I had a harder time with that than actually.
Really?
Oh yeah, I had a much harder time because of course, then again, it was an emotional thing because my mom was going bad. She was really losing it, and I was up around all the clock. You get that, you think it, you're sitting down right there, you could take care of it online, and I couldn't because I mean, she was like, you screaming at us to get her up and stuff like that. 'Cause she was in pain, so. I just failed to meet my deadlines.
For me, it was easier. I knew when things were due. I could either get them done early or put
Wait.
it off to the last minute.
See, that's the way the problem was me. I didn't. Time management for me, even in college, I did the best work just a night and a half before the deadline. I mean,
Right.
I had to pour it on, and I mean, I delivered. I did really well, but that's the way I had to do it.
But what we were talking about
Do we actually
on the
feel
way
com-
over here, that just because you go to college
doesn't make you
doesn't
smart?
mean, especially now.
No.
The more after I got out of college, I had 3 majors, so I'm not bragging, but I had 3 majors. And the more, even in those fields that I allegedly studied, the more I looked into stuff my own, I realized they don't cover squat.
No,
And this is considered your degree. I mean, you got a degree, you got enough to you regurgitate enough, or you covered enough on a paper or a few papers. They said, okay, you got proficiency in this.
But you had to regurgitate what the. If I remember right, you regurgitated what the professor.
Pretty
You,
much.
you actually had to
Sometimes-
give back what the professor what he wanted you to tell.
Eh.
Not what the field wanted you to tell.
And how many times did you go there that they wanted you to buy their book?
Oh God, yeah.
Actually, I had a couple of professors I did have, though, added one other way to make sure there was no book, and they took a lot
Right,
of the
but how many times? I know at least
About
2 times where I had to buy
Yeah.
their book
Yeah,
Right.
we had 3 professors that published quite frequently, and
and make
That's
money,
what-
and they
That's how they made their money.
right.
the philosophy professors. Well, we had 2 of them. And then there's another one from another field, but yeah, they
If
did.
you
They
read
kept
my
it.
book and page so and so.
But I learned that you waited until the first day before you buy the book.
Yeah.
So
There was no cliff.
no, because I've been to classes where they said You don't need a buck.
By the way, do we have an input here from Reverend Gary from Scotland? Blessing to you, gentlemen, from Glasgow. That's my friend Gary from there.
Mhm.
So, yeah, hey, it's nice to see you online there, Gary.
Same to you,
Yeah. Anyway, so I just
but not from Glasgow,
No,
we're
from Flint.
from Flint.
scenic Flint. No.
But no, it is so hard because honestly, I think trade schools need to be the one that comes back.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we need
Right,
trade schools,
but even though, okay, when I call them
and there's a reason why I'm saying
the
that.
community college mafia,
Mhm.
because if they see something that's making money, they
Mhm.
go and grab it and then they change it.
Yeah.
And come on, do you really have to take English to do one
No,
thing?
and you don't
No,
need to
but I'm
take.
saying that maybe not English, but they throw their stuff in there that you have to have prereqs before you can.
Well, because they got to get their money.
Where anywhere else, you're better off just going to the ironwork and Door Highway and learning how to weld.
That's it. So today, Trump at 1 o'clock
That's
sat
true.
down and did something today. It was really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do?
He sat down in Galveston, Georgia.
Was it
And
a town hall?
wasn't a town hall. It just basically came out. No, today wasn't a town hall. It was could have been a town hall. 5,000 people. He said, he goes, I came out with 5,000 of my closest friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
I saw him go on a shopping spree too at a grocery store or something.
yesterday I
Like that.
think
Yeah,
he was out shopping. He actually paid for a
But
little
anyways, what do
groceries.
you do?
He actually came out with his manufacturing plan today. This is what he said. Basically, he laid it all out for the first half hour. It was very much of a layout.
Meanwhile,
And
Kamala
Talking about her front lawn
yeah, front lawn, yeah.
yeah, the front line was
and
with
what's
turf
been
builder.
and what's tomorrow and yellow buses.
Yellow buses are going to go around and
Yellow
around.
buses for everybody.
Um, yeah, we all get to ride the yellow bus all day long.
But only solar powered ones. Yeah.
So anyways, his was very interesting. He came out and said this. He said, listen, guys, he said, this is what we're going to do. He said, we are going to come in, and he said, he is going to, this is his plan. And I'll tell you what, Mark Cuban's big thing was because he came out right before Trump. Mark Cuban needs to, I swear,
He
on
really
this-
hasn't done anything. I know he started a business and he
he
sold it
owns
to Yahoo. That's
Yahoo.
his
He
claim to
did
fame.
that. Then he bought the Mavericks.
And that's
And
it.
then from that point on, but he is, what they do is they throw a celebrity, somebody out there just to blow up things. But here's the deal. I think sometimes you need to shut your mouth and listen before you say something, before you actually, I think you need to have all the facts before you actually open your mouth. Just once in a very while.
But
If
what do you
there's
say?
any advice to any of the celebrities, try to take one thing. Shut your mouth, listen before you open your mouth. That would just be really good. But here's what he said. First fact. One, if a country out there is going to ever build anything and try to sell it into this our country, you're going to pay a tariff. So if you're going to go out here and you're in charge of the tariff, we're going to match you 1 for 1.
Right.
Second, if you're China, if you're any other country, you build a thing over there in Mexico, you're going to be paying 200% tariffs. And those tariffs are our way of saying this. But here's what I want to do. Right now, he's got it down to 21% on things. But if you build it here, we will give you a 15%, not 21%. So your tax rate will be at 15% for manufacturing.
Okay, but the argument is, how are they going to make up for that?
There's a way. Hold on. There's a way to do it. So guess what? He is going to charge tariffs on anything that comes in the door. But on the outside and working out, so any company, any country that wants to build their products in a country, they can do that. Second of all, he is going to give, if you build any factory in this country for the first year, 100% write off.
That's encouraging.
Any R&D, 100% write off for the first year. No taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime, no taxes on Social Security for seniors, and for anybody who is on Social Security.
No federal tax.
No federal tax.
I could see the Democrats just screaming and pulling their hair out because they love finding ways. I think they like finding ways of taxing us.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no! What are
But
you gonna do?
any country, General Motors, Ford, Chrysler, Apple, U.S. Steel that just sold to Japan. Every one of these countries, every one of these companies, you go across to Japan, you go anywhere else, You go to any other country, 200%.
I mean, he's
200%.
already done it because you remember the milk wars when he
Mhm.
was in office with Canada,
Right.
that
Mhm.
they were charging us a
Yep.
tariff on our milk that went.
So any property that comes across is 100%
But
automatically.
what I'm saying is he has a proven track record on
Yep.
already doing this, and that's what I don't understand was why
And
people wouldn't go with him.
the EPA, right? For anything in the EPA, it takes 1 month, not 3 or 5, 10, 15 years, 1 month. When you come in, you do anything, it's 1 month, and all red tape is cut on the federal level. So
Because
if
it
you're
would
trying to
seem to
sell,
me that they would know. Okay, I bet you that they do things like this. Okay, we have similar businesses.
right,
You just went through 15 years of BS.
right,
I'm going to do the same business that's right next to you.
right.
Do you think they're going to take your environmental study and everything, or do you think they're going to start my 15-year process?
Oh, they're gonna take the same thing and do it, and then they're not gonna start
But when
15 years.
they're going to make me, no,
They're
I'm
gonna
saying
make you.
currently, they're going to make me go through that same 15 years
Yeah,
that you went through,
they're gonna
even
make it
though I'm within a
50
couple of
yards.
miles
Yeah,
away from you.
yeah,
You
because
know,
they want their money.
one other thing is,
But he's saying, "I'm cutting regulations."
But my argument is they've done enough businesses, they've done enough studies in areas that they should know what.
And he's saying that the government he's moving Washington D.C. out of the way of the business person.
Right, and then
And he's like, I want the factories back in. I want the factories open. I want the people hired. He said there should be nobody that should actually have a job when they come out of high school, or when they come out of trade schools, when they come out of anything. They cannot walk into a job and have a good paying job to walk in and be able to take care of their family and take care of their life.
well,
And then the other side, working with education.
well, see, that's another thing is, I mean, that's where the sticking point is because the education, if it's him and his administration, the education establishment is going to have, they're going to have major issues.
okay, but what are they going to be able to do if he's the one that's saying it? Because who made the Department of Education? A president.
I
Who
know.
can take the Department of Education away?
A
The president.
president.
Well, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping. But
He knows what he can do. He doesn't. He already knows what he can do. You know he's got everything all set up. So when he goes in there, it's going to be boom, 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 boom. And I know he's not going to care if they cry this time. Who
Because
cares?
he's only got 4 years left. It's not like he's gonna go for re-election. He's not right now, that lame duck is better he's gonna use it for his advantage versus against his disadvantage, because basically he doesn't have to care
right.
after his whole thing. So it's actually against Congress. Now if we get a Republican
Like
Congress,
Mike Johnson,
you get Mike Johnson in
got to
there.
get rid of him.
Actually, I think Mike.
No, they're already talking about getting rid of him.
Get somebody in,
He's not even gonna be the new speaker.
then have somebody like Jim Jordan, but have somebody in there that's going to have the ability to work hard. But then have him and have somebody like, I don't know who you're going to have in the Senate, but you got to have somebody with a backbone in the Senate that can rally things up and tell Schumer to get his freaking crying ass back, sit back down, honestly, and not have Pelosi or all the other guys sit in the
Well,
fucking White House.
we just need to stop treating these people with the reverence that we give them.
That's
They're not popes. They're not rock stars.
Yeah, but
they're
we
not-
let the we
Yeah,
hand them
we
a
do,
freaking mic.
and that's
don't-
where we have to stop.
I don't think the Pope should be treated well like the Pope is being
But
treated.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, but the thing is that there's going to be a backlash, obviously. But if the 4 years down the road, that gives a chance might save this country, then he's going to be taking the hits all
But I mean,
along.
even look some of the things that he's done, like the tax cut and there and some of the tariffs that he has in place, they didn't take them back.
Hmm.
They're still there.
They can't take 'em
No,
back.
but what I'm saying is he's going to get things that are in there
So where
that
I
they
said
won't
Mark
be able to
Cuban,
take back without hurting people.
so where I said Mark Cuban kind of put his foot in his mouth,
Mhm.
he came out before this, right, and said, "Well, the reason why that Kamala Harris doesn't come out and give you all this stuff because she thinks strongly and she thinks long before she says anything."
I don't think she thinks at all.
I don't think
but-
she has a clue, but and I don't think he does either. But anyways, he says, but he goes, it amazes me that so many people just want to rally around the stupid things that Donald Trump says financially. I'm thinking, okay, here's what he's saying and this is where I don't understand. Mark Cuban doesn't
Okay.
understand. When he said that to me, it makes you understand he does not understand the first thing
Okay,
about the
but
comedy
think
that
about
comes
it.
in.
When he made all his money, he was a kid.
Right. And
He
he
has
still
no life experience
he doesn't know
other
what it feels
than
like.
his bubble that everybody, he's got people that do things for him and run his business. He doesn't run his business.
No, he just sits there and bids
That's
on people.
obvious from the statement he
He's
made.
got
So-
accountants and everything. He has no life experience.
Right. But I mean, he'll come across on TV shows as he cares about people. But honestly, he doesn't. A lot of people ask us, well, should you go on a Shark Tank and not sit there and talk to guys that
Oh,
don't even
they put it, yeah, in Shark Tank. You don't think they do take 1, take 2, take 3?
take
They're not
500?
going to make him look stupid.
No. So here's the deal. Here's where you are with this. Really, if all honesty, Donald Trump has the best economical plan of the guys that are out there when it comes to Joe Biden. Tell me he doesn't. Tell me
He
when
has
you
the
start-
only
tell,
plan.
tell me what Kamala Harris has anything to anyone
Oh,
else.
she's gonna create.
Well, she wants to raise
She's gonna
everybody's
create
taxes.
3 million new houses. She's gonna give people $25,000 for a down payment for a house,
And she's going to raise your taxes
and
and
she's gonna go
a business owner's tax,
and she's
right?
gonna go into supermarkets and say you can't sell that food for that price.
Or to a person who makes that food, you can't sell it to the store at this price.
Then you can't sell it.
Yeah. So here's the
But
problem.
go
Here's the
ahead.
thing. Here's the one part about it. The one thing is, so I sit there listening to an economist who was talking about this, right, with Kamala Harris's tax plan. So they brought it out. They brought out something really, and they asked a Democratic strategist, right, and who was an economist too, right. The guy from the Democratic Party was asked this question: is it not true that Kamala Harris's plan and the plan that they've got right now in spot will actually raise it to the point where every business across the country right now will pay 52% of every dollar that is earned. Every dollar that comes across the door, the business has to pay out the door with not one penny, right? Without one penny ever of risk being taken by the government. But for every dollar gained by a business, 52% of that is going to go to the government.
Well,
48% of that will go to the business owner before you even pay your salaries to anybody. Now let me ask you a question. You and me. If you were to start a company and you were to say get told flat out, before you were to be paying one employee, before you're to pay one lease, before you pay one bill, you have to pay the government 52% of everything that comes
okay,
in the door.
but you do it every time.
I do it
day
every
at
week.
the gas pump.
But no, but
Because you pay, do you know you pay like 73 cents on every gallon or every dollar
Yeah.
goes to
to the
the
government.
government.
Yeah.
73 cents
Right.
on every gallon.
Yeah.
Well, they're never going to be enough. I mean, until they get an entire paycheck or your entire earnings or your entire investments, until they get all that, they're not going to be happy.
And then this is the question that they always say to everybody. We want you to pay your fair share.
Okay.
But here's the thing. We take more money in as we take more money in taxes every year, right? We take in almost 5 trillion a year, and we pay out 6.4. Don't you think it's time that we actually say to somebody, maybe it's time you stop cutting what you're paying?
And then what's stupid is,
And
okay,
it's not cutting people's benefits, it's cutting your freaking allowances that you're paying out to every freaking country across the world.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing I have a problem with.
speaking of that, who showed his ugly little butt? In
Oh, yes.
Pennsylvania?
Zelensky. Oh yeah.
Zelensky came and flew a jet, wasn't it? Or flew in a jet?
Yeah. In Pennsylvania, went to a factory that
Joe Biden
specializes
says-
in munitions, along with Shapiro, the governor of Pennsylvania, and signed bombs. And not only that, the governor decided he's going to create an alliance, a partnership with
Zelensky.
Ukraine, which means the government or the people of Pennsylvania are personally giving money, tax money to Ukraine,
And there's no
along
accountability.
with their federal money.
No accountability whatsoever
Of course
on any
not.
level. And okay, then did he get approval of this from? Does anybody say?
It doesn't have to.
Yeah, no, I think they have to. They have, because that's considered.
He already did it.
I don't see how they could.
He did it. He had everything was in place. He did his little visit.
Executive.
My-
They had their pomp and circumstance. He signed the
This-
little thing in.
It's ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous because they're supposed to. The only person that's supposed to have any contact without foreign affairs, foreign people like that is the federal government.
Oh, I'm sure they had their people overseeing it. They did get their 2
Kamala.
cents.
It's
God.
a Democrat. He's a Democrat.
I wonder.
Listen, you're okay. One thing we're forgetting.
Let's forget.
If you're a Democrat, you can actually sit
Do
there
everything.
and kill everybody,
Look.
and you don't have to worry about it.
And you
All you have to say is this: that person's against democracy. That's all you gotta say.
Democracy, which we're not, by the way, folks.
No, but
You know?
it's another word. It's another word. They want freedom. That's the worst thing.
but and then okay, what about the Pope? What he just recently said
About the two evils. Yeah.
about you got to
You know what?
the
Here's a
lesser
thought.
of the 2 evils that she kills babies and he kills.
I would listen to him gladly.
Why?
I know I would. I would listen to him
Not
gladly.
me.
No, I would. I would listen to him gladly about one point. If he would do one thing, open up the Vatican, let everybody move into the Vatican.
Oh yeah, but that's not going to happen.
Well,
No,
then,
it's
hey, you know what? Don't preach it to everybody else.
Well, another thing is too. Hey, look at the thing. The story. The parable of the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan took a guy to the end, took care of him, and then paid for his expenses there. He didn't take him back home with him.
No,
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. He didn't take him back home with him.
no.
And people don't overlook that. I
No,
mean,
you got to take care of yourself and your family
No,
first.
Well, no, we got to take care of Zelensky and his friends over there in Ukraine. We got to take care of them because the parties are really the jets are like getting really hard to get now. To land in a war zone, so they have to go somewhere else. I'm so angry about that. They just everything I understand about how
Okay,
that's
then
We're
Well,
fixing to be
then
in
you
World
want
War.
some- you
and we're
want some
fixing to
good-
watch World War III start with Israel starting.
I guess, but some good news came out of Hamtramck
What?
oh,
about the Democratic mayor
No,
endorsing Trump.
Hamtramck, Michigan.
yeah.
Yes,
Nice.
and because of, and John can probably explain it better than I can.
Well, he's a Muslim, and because Hamtramck as well as Dearborn are predominantly Arab and mostly Arabic Muslims, Arabic speaking Muslims. And the thing is, it makes some sense to me because see the Muslims I know are business people, and they're also very conservative. They're certainly not going to be for all this transgender stuff and all that. So yeah, I can understand that. It's surprising that the Democrat, because not too far from Detroit, you're still alliance with the Democratic Party, still got an ironclad grip pretty much on Detroit, the city. But I think it's really a hopeful sign. That this man has pulled his endorsement for him because I think they're just saying, no way can we just back this woman. There's no way.
But if you think about it, it's the Muslims and the Democrats that are going to save the Republican Party
yeah,
because you have Gabbard, you have Musk, you have Kennedy,
Mhm.
you have Trump, who's a former Democrat.
Mhm.
It takes Democrats to fix the Republican Party,
well, go back far enough though. Reagan originally was a Democrat too.
and Reagan too.
Yeah, right. So it's
The
like,
Democratic Party is left the moderate Democrats.
yes,
Of course,
exactly-
and that's
junk.
why it's not fair to write off all people because
No,
they're
it's
Democrats.
no, and I
or
don't
for the idiots in the party.
listen. There's a lot of friends of mine who are Democrats.
Well, we talked about it before. If we didn't vote for Democrats, we could vote for nobody in
that's what we got here.
where we live.
That's what we got here. I don't know where you vote is at, but different. But it's here. It's everybody's got a D after their name.
But a very small D because they don't know how conservative they really are.
Yeah, we've had like I said, local politicians who are Democrats, run as Democrats, tell us if they could get away without running for any party at all, they would. So
Yeah.
that's just they just
I think on the
say
state
that,
level, they shouldn't have a party affiliation.
well, the two-party system is something the founding fathers really seriously had fears for, and that's exactly what we got, and we've had it for how many years?
Yeah.
What's a serious chance? You got the Green Party, obviously, and the Libertarians. You got the other parties, but they never made a real significant showing. They never have. But what I was taught in political science is basically the role of the third party is basically introduce new ideas and stuff like that. Eventually, that the mainstream, one of the mainstream.
But the way it's set up,
Right.
any new ideas, like
Usually get
Kennedy,
gobbled up.
even Kennedy, without his money,
Couldn't get
couldn't
a
get
map
any
in.
new ideas across. Well, I mean,
No.
Trump listened to him, so maybe he did get
Even
his
Kamala
ideas
Harris
across.
wouldn't even take she wouldn't even take a meeting with him.
See, that's
Well-
see, that's good to show you that they're more like dogmatic. I mean, the Democrats they always accuse everybody else of being narrow-minded and bigoted, but if you try to present anything that's outside of their canon, oh my God,
I'm talking about the liberal
That's what I'm talking
left.
about.
Liberal left.
If you want to know what Democratic Party, I'm talking about the big Democratic Party, right? If you want to know what they're getting ready to do, like the guys in DC, what they're doing, listen to what they're accusing other people doing.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
well, that's a Marxist tactic. That's a Marxist tactic. Yeah.
I mean, everything that they've accused everybody else doing,
Right.
they're doing it.
and
That's
plus, it gives a way to flesh out their idea to see if they
Yeah.
can get it past people.
Right.
It's like you think this is a good idea? No, hell no. No, neither do I. No, I was just checking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But they're doing it. Those guys over there are doing it. Yeah, well, we're just talking about it. Okay, I gotta tell you this. Since we're talking about Ukraine, I gotta tell you a funny story. There is a country that is actually paying you to have sex on your lunch hour.
It's like, well, where's
Russia.
it? Russia?
Russia is paying you to have sex on your lunch hour because they are trying to increase their population. Last year, they had their drop in their population, so they're figuring now that you know what, you need to go home, you need to stay with the office
good for
or go
them.
home. Yeah, I had no problem with this.
I
One.
don't either.
I thought this was a
What
good.
we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah,
I
You
this
get
is
paid
like-
to do it
yeah,
anyways.
yeah, so I don't see. He's like, hey, and this came right from him. Just enjoy a little bit nookie at noonie. You know.
No, I mean, it's like, well, look at China. They backed down on the one child policy because they had a drop, some drop in their population. Where the West is the only one that's got themselves convinced that having children is a horrible thing to do. I mean, I just thought it was the most absurd kind of
That's what made it so
coup that
perfect.
they pulled it off so well. They convinced American people that having children is considered selfish and boring or whatever. And
Oh, it's against the woman's right.
yeah.
To do it.
So it's just ridiculous. They convinced them to destroy yourself. And I mean, that's a stroke of genius on behalf of your enemy to convince your enemy to do this to themselves. I mean, another thing is too, if Social Security is going to, I mean, years ago, I just thought about this the other day. Years ago, people would have farms or whatever, and they lived there and they had a lot of kids. Well, they didn't have Social Security, but what happened is the couple got older. They had the kids, with few of the kids that stay on the farm, and they actually produced and they lived with their kids.
Right.
And maybe they had a small savings saved up or whatever, and they could live off of that. And
The kids
family
would
farm
take care of
was
Because it was generational.
generational. And that's what the Democrats have always been against, especially McGovern. He wanted to ban inheritances when he was running as president. It's one of the reasons why he didn't get elected.
Well, I mean, but you're talking about farms, but look at what they're doing to people who are trying to have chickens and different things. You can't have that. You
Oh my
can't
God,
have
no.
that pen in this area.
You have to have this, and you have
Or
to.
you can't live off grid in
Well,
this area.
I got to know. There's a few people around the Flint area, right here in the area, that's got chickens, and I know some people say there's a health risk. And I said it's no any more different than about three people with three pit bulls
Or
letting
the
dogs
rat
out.
or the rats that are running around
Julie's
in
got
tall
chickens.
grass.
Bill's got chicken. We got chickens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the difference between.
But what I'm saying is, they're trying to control everything.
Yeah, that's what I've always seen is the Democratic trademark. I mean, that's the stamp of being a Democrat is you know better about everybody's life better than they do, and you're going to have to inform them how they're going to have to live their lives. And if they have any issues, they're narrow-minded and bigoted.
But I mean, look what they did here.
Because they're affluent and we're not.
Yeah,
That's
look
all
what
that-
the city of Flint did to us trying to fix the roof of the church.
Right.
That it was a necessary repair. We didn't think about it, that we needed to pull permits. But this guy, obviously, they got people driving around just to catch people. How much did that cost us
I think it was
for the permit?
120,
And
140,
did
something
we
like
get
that,
a
yeah.
fine too?
No, we didn't get a fine. He said, well, what it was too, I found out the people who was doing it for us actually had materials delivered from Home Depot.
Oh
or
yeah, I
something.
forgot about that.
And
Home
that's-
Depot
They have
turned
to
this in.
They have to tip us off. They have to tip off the city. So basically, yeah. So basically, now the people you
So we would pick. So if it got picked up from Home Depot
yeah
and brought over by a private
person
person,
They would have
Then we wouldn't have got caught. But
But
because
if Home Depot-
delivered it,
because they have to
I'm not
deliver.
saying we didn't know.
No, I know, but that's kinda-
because it's a repair. It
Well,
wasn't a full roof.
No, I guess they want permits from stuff that's necessary too, like steps and everything. They didn't used to have that for. Now you got to have permission to get steps done.
And
They want money goes along with it
the government's in your
for a
butt.
permit
to get for
to build steps.
steps and everything else. Yep, because okay, I don't see. I mean, everybody they say we combat organized crime. Well, the government is organized crime.
Yeah.
I mean, and they want a cut of something they had no skin in the game.
Are they going to
want
build
you-
it for you?
No, but they're going to make sure you do it exactly how they want it, or you're going to have to tear it apart and build it over again. They've done that before. Projects they didn't approve
No,
of.
I
Yeah.
know.
So I mean, I think you know what, I can take the risk of going up a flight of steps, up some steps that might collapse. I'd rather put up with that possibility than have a government sniffing up everybody's bum every second. You know, I am serious.
But with that, I mean, back to Trump. One of the things that I'm the happiest about is getting rid of the Department of Education.
I am too.
And
Because once he gets rid of the Department of
states,
Education.
back to states this year.
yeah, because
Once he gets rid of that, I think then you're going to see that big union gone away with, and then you're going to have to see them do their job to
Right.
actually keep the union in
Oh,
different
because
states.
think about it. If the money's going to the government of Michigan rather through a pipeline for the Department of
Yep.
Education to the educators,
Yeah.
the government's not going to just here you go like them
well, another thing is too, the people
like candy.
they
Yeah.
wanted. They always want to say we have to have Department of Education. Well, since the adoption of that creation of it, our standards have diminished. They've gone down all across the board.
Right
Really
now,
good.
and now everybody's got New York's.
Standards, for lack of them.
Standards.
Yeah, I mean,
Every time you put a department together, here's what happens. We come to the lowest standard. And we come to California,
Right,
and we come to New York, and we come to Chicago and Detroit.
right.
We
Because
never
you
get
think
raised
about
up.
it. People are like, if it's only 70% and they meet the standard, that's all they're going to do.
the kids across the world are actually learning how to do coding and stuff like that now. And what we're doing about it, what transgender studies in our schools. I mean, we don't have nothing to keep us competitive. We eliminated shop classes, where wood shop, metal shop, welding,
Why did we ever eliminate stuff like that?
because
You taught people how to be self-sufficient.
yeah, they didn't want that. And another thing is
They
too,
wanted you to be dependent.
well,
Now we've taught people how to be 27 different genders.
yeah, stuff that's absolutely insane. I mean, it's like we've embraced insanity. We've allowed insanity to rule, and because we don't want to be considered bigoted.
Yeah,
I mean,
those words luckily aren't mean because we talked about it.
Right.
When's the last time you heard anything about is biz and identity, third pronouns and all that kind of stuff?
well, I live in a-
Pronouns have kind of gone away with
Yeah.
with election year.
I think they're gone.
I think they should. When Trump comes in as president, they're gone.
But I haven't seen anything for a while. Like remember Libs of TikTok used to have all that stuff, all that. That's not on there.
Did you think they ever will actually wake up one day, maybe 10 years down the road, and watch them their old stuff and saying, I was an absolute moron? You think they're capable of that kind of reflection or what?
I don't know, because I don't want to say this to be mean, but you got to think about it. Do you ever think that sometimes that it's not, when you say, well, there's a problem with them mentally, if you don't fix it mentally, do you ever think that's ever going to get fixed?
No.
No, but you're not allowed to because that mental illness has evolved into something else. I mean, as far as
Being
doctors and different things treat it, I mean,
looking the other way all the time is never going to fix it. You
No,
can't. You
but-
can't keep looking the other way. Like what
Right.
happened in Philadelphia over the weekend. You can't look another way.
I don't know what happened in
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
that's drawing a blank there myself.
Okay, over the weekend there was in the last 11 days. In the last 11 days, they had all these different stops and everything in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, because they've been having these people coming in and they've been pouring gas on cars and slashing tires and doing different things. Back to mob kind of rule things in Pennsylvania.
For no
will-
reason?
For no reason, just rushing in and doing different things. And then they're saying, well, it's just, it's not a good thing, but crime's down.
That you don't count this. We're not counting this.
But they were spinning and doing UEs up in the middle of the intersections in downtown.
Oh
It's
wait,
nice.
I seen that with
Yeah.
the car sped away and they
Yeah.
went after the police
Yeah,
SUV and
Yeah.
surrounded it and started beating on it.
yeah, smashing up cars and deflating them and smashing the car windows and trying to start them on fire and everything like that.
And I bet you the Dems are trying to find a way of excusing that, right? No.
Well, they're saying that, you know what, but they've got things where
It's
she's
kids.
talking about
Kids will be kids.
defunding the police. Trump said one thing today that makes a lot of sense, and it should have been said all across the thing. Any person that's ever said the word out of their mouth at an agency of saying that you should ever defund the police,
They're gone.
imagine the police, do anything with the police, right? Should never be able to run for president. I totally agree with that. But yet we have somebody who actually got out videos of a person saying defund the police.
Okay, but that's his personal opinion.
But shouldn't
I
that be
thought you were
true?
going to say that it is writing something. He did say something about
Kamala
anybody
did
that
come
works
across.
in government that he's got
She
proof that said that he was going to get rid of them.
no, she
No,
said
he
it.
said that.
No, she said that.
You're not understanding me.
Okay.
He said anybody that said defund the police
Uh-huh.
that's in an agency
Right.
or works for the government that he was going to get rid of them.
Right. I'm saying that anybody that said defund the police should never be qualified to run for
But
president.
what's better? Being in charge of it and getting rid of people that said it?
Yeah.
Or saying that somebody shouldn't say that?
I would say
I don't know. What do you think, John?
I mean, I can see some people can say something in an impulsive moment. I've seen a lot of videos about where cops just go off the rails, and they.
But
don't
you
think-
never said
No,
get
Yeah,
rid of the
but-
police.
No, I actually emphasize the opposite. I say we should be. I think they should
You
have
should
a two-
educate them.
They should have a 2-year program that they have to go through before they even go into the academy.
But that comes from the same thing what I said before. They're just kids that's going through college and going through a program and becoming a police officer with no life experience. It's not like when you and I grew up that we had jobs. We had responsibilities before we graduated high school. These guys live with their parents and they're police officers out on the street. They're acting like little kids playing games in their mom's basement, and then they're
And
gonna
they
go
go to
play
play
dress
cops.
up and be a police officer.
I'm playing cops and robbers. Very second.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no maturity level in this country currently. I mean, nothing's expected. I mean, you've heard of rites of passage, right? You did this before at a certain time, and that was considered a step up in society. We don't have those.
No.
We don't have them.
There's
We don't have
no
a time where a man becomes a man
or
and
a
a woman
woman.
becomes a woman,
Right.
or a girl becomes a girl. I mean, a girl becomes a woman. A young boy becomes a man.
But
We don't have that time
That's the
anymore.
society that we live in now.
Yeah,
You
Because we're
got
worried about Johnny becoming a man. We
Right.
want him to be a girl.
Oh,
got-
choose
you got-
some other name, man.
Huh?
You have to choose some other name.
we've got
Yeah.
kids. We got kids with no life
Oh,
experience.
sorry. I mean,
No,
No
I'm
life.
just used to that as an example.
No life experience. No responsibilities. No maturities or maturity. Running
wow, we got a Kamala Harris. No.
right.
Yeah.
We got Kamala Harris is running business now.
Yeah, it's a never. She's with
To
only
get back to your question at the beginning of this whole talk, with everything we've been talking about, do you really think everything we've laid out? Do you really think anyone should feel safe about her being president?
Oh God, no. I mean, I'm
No,
sorry, there's
but-
no way.
So why? I don't understand how anyone would show up to any of
Because
those.
they hate Trump.
It's all
That's
it is.
it.
It's
I
Trump-
hate
Trump
him.
delusion.
I
If you
hate
hate
him.
someone so
do you
bad,
hate Kamala Harris?
No.
No, neither do I. If she becomes president, it's gonna ruin your day, right? And You're not gonna be happy,
Yes.
no, I'm.
but you're gonna live your life.
You're gonna go through 4 years of hell.
But there's
Or
people
3 years,
that'll-
3.5 years of hell.
that it looks like if Trump wins, they're gonna commit suicide.
These guys hate the country so much. They hate this man so much.
Yeah, they will destroy the country. I mean, it just they'd rather. I mean, it goes back to the baby, Solomon and the two women.
With a baby.
The leftists don't care in this country. Yeah, the baby, brought. They both say that they're the mothers, and he brought a sword, had a sword brought in, said cleave it in two. The mother the woman who wasn't really the mother said, "Oh,
They think she's qualified. What percent?
Hate Trump, probably 70%, living in a bubble,
30%.
30%.
Yeah, to me, anybody.
I'm thinking about I'm closer to 80%
Yeah,
that hate Trump. Or not so much they hate Trump, but they hate the thing of what Trump represents.
they hate the idea of Trump, which is not the reality of Trump.
But I think I think if you put the bubble what he represents, I would say that that's the biggest part of it. Because honestly, there's a lot of people who think that, oh my God, the common people, those that it's like, you remember Harry Reid that was in the Senate?
Yeah, and he got beat up and they blamed it on his treadmill.
Yeah. You remember? Do you ever remember the one time he said this one thing? He said, "Please do me a favor. Can you please change out the air conditioning in the Senate for us because the common people who are up there, I can't stand smelling them."
Oh my God,
This is what the Democrats think about people.
you're right.
I think, well,
I think they all think that way.
yeah, the elitist and
In
they think
DC,
the same way.
Yeah.
They all do, but I'm just telling you, this is what he said. But here's the funny thing is, I think that's what a lot of these affluent people think about us. Is you and I and you, we dress with what, we dress what's comfortable. We dress what we don't look like slobs when we go places, but I mean when we all go out places, we don't dress like
Right.
slobs. We come down here because we're comfortable with each other. We dress what we want to dress like. But the thing is, this is like, guess what? We don't dress in tuxes. We don't go out to. We're not out at we're not out eating caviar out every night. We're not out doing different things like that. We work our butts off. You're up here, what, 11, 12 hours a day, right?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
You're working even late at night doing different things. I'm up to 3 or 4 in the morning doing stuff. And we're all working all different parts of jobs. But we don't complain about it. We don't talk about it. We laugh and we joke and we take through life like this. These guys, it's all about who you know. It's all about what party you're going to go to. And I was thinking about that this weekend because on Sunday I kind of like took a day off, just like a hedge day, and I watched this show called. I watched 2 shows. I watched a show called The Perfect Couple on Netflix, I think, or something like that, and it was about this people that were married for 29 years. He was a drunk, and she was this writer about different things. Well, come to find out, she was an escort when they first met. He had five generations of wealth and everything in the Hamptons, right?
Yeah.
Well, then so they were trying to hide all this, her whole past and everything. Come to find out, so many people were having all these problems with all their past and everything. It's so funny how the fluent people always are trying to hide their secrets, right? Because nobody needs to know. Everyone's so busy hiding their
dirt.
secrets, their dirt. And it's funny because the people that I know who are like us, we don't care about our dirt.
Proud of it.
Yeah, we're proud of it. It's just as we lived our life.
You ever heard of the comedian Louis Griswold said about times? He said, most people got a crazy aunt, but they keep her up in the attic. He said, down south, we don't do that. We bring her on the front porch where everybody can see her.
That's it.
I think that's most people's attitude now is like they bring, like Roseanne Barr when she had her TV show, Roseanne, the original one, right?
Yeah.
When it was good.
When it was good.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh my God, I love that because it was so like people.
It was
I mean,
regular life.
It was really real.
It wasn't like some person who he came home from, he had a briefcase and he had a suit. And I can't stand shows like that. They're
No.
not funny. I don't relate to them people. I don't.
No.
I'm blue collar, man. I mean, I like blue collar people because they're more honest. They're more straightforward. They're not screwed up, but at least they say they don't have any pretense. I like that. I mean, white collar people and me, I couldn't stand being around more than a couple hours of them people.
I used to be white.
No, but when you're around them long enough,
I
they
did not.
slip up. I've had friends.
I used to white collar all the time.
I have a tendency if they wear a tie, if they wear a tie every day for work and they, and a lot of times on their days off, have a tendency to think they're really out of touch reality. And I have a distrust for them. I do.
I don't blame you.
I don't. But
it's been an hour.
Yeah, so but
It's an hour. Are we calling?
Yeah, I'll say we'll wrap it up. So
Hit the button, John.
okay.